is it just patch management? Is there anything else the user community should be doing to kind of offset some of the risk that they're facing with these sorts of scenarios?
So this is one of the hard things. I don't want to sell any silver bullet solutions, but there's absolutely technical things that companies and users can do to protect themselves, okay? So let's talk a little bit about different types of ransomware. Traditionally, they talk in terms of two types of ransomware. Ransomware that encrypts your entire hard drive, and then ransomware that encrypts your individual files and folders, right? And there's a third type that I like to talk about where the attacker breaks in, takes over the entire organization and does horrible things, but we'll put that aside for now. But if we're looking at the two main types of ransomware, Microsoft in Windows 10 has ransomware protection. You can actually turn on. It's off on many Windows 10 systems. But if you actually go to the antivirus and firewall settings, you can turn on ransomware protection. And it can be set up to back up files to OneDrive that are critical. And it can also set up to monitor files and folders for encryption and ransomware style activity. It works fairly well. Granted, there's always somebody in the offensive community that's like, well, I can bypass it. Of course you can. A lot of people in the offensive community are like, wreck it, Ralph. I can wreck it. And they're like, I can bypass it. We got to get away from that. But it actually helps, right? You can turn this on right now at home. So if you're listening to this, go check out your Windows 10 ransomware settings, turn it on, and you're going to be much safer than you were before. The other thing that you can do, Florian Roth, he's the main individual behind the Sigma project. He's Neo23X0 on Twitter, and he has a GitHub repository. He created a really cool tool called Racine, Raccine. Once again, that's Raccine. And what this tool does is it monitors volume shadow copy deletions. So let me explain what that means. So if you've ever had a situation where your Windows system crashed and it restarts and it says, hey, your system's recovering from a crash. Do you want to restore a previous version of Windows? We've all seen this, right? We say yes, no. Well, in Microsoft, it's constantly creating a copy of the current system state in the form of volume shadow copy. So it's this little hidden partition on your hard drive. And if it crashes, Microsoft can go back to that known good configuration and restore itself. Well, what do you think the first thing is that ransomware goes after when it starts encrypting your files? It deletes volume shadow copy. So what this tool does is it watches the process that runs volume shadow copy. And if anything tries to run the delete command to delete through VS admin to delete the volume shadow copy, it stops that from happening. And then it kills the parent process that called it. So the point is, you have this little magic backup thing that happens in Windows, and the attackers go through and delete the backups. And that's not something that normal people do. Like, we don't go through and delete volume shadow copy. That's not something that happens regularly. And by simply watching the processes that are trying to delete that backup will stop a tremendous amount of ransomware. And this is free, right? If you're talking the Windows 10 protections for watching folders and doing backups, doesn't cost you anything. Turn it on. If you're looking at Racine from Florian Roth, it's free and it's very effective. Once again, not snake oil, not silver bullet stuff, but there are actually things within our control that we can take, steps that are free and relatively easy to do that'll actually mitigate our risk a tremendous amount.